Floor to the audience. If you have any questions, you can please. Okay, I think no question there. So thank you so much, Rizwan and Sultana.
Thank
Could
you.
you please unmute, mute and unshare your screen?
মিজান সাহেব
No, actually.
মিজান সাহেব accept করে নাই
Feminist. এটা আসে না এখনো।
এখানে এসে করতে হবে
এখন তো এখানে দেখতেছি না। আসছে।
আসছে, হ্যাঁ।
Okay. MD Mizanur Rahman, have you connected with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so now I'd like to invite Wing Commander MD Mizanur Rahman from Bangladesh Air Force and to present his poster. The title is Trend of Temperature Extremes over Bangladesh in a Decadal Pattern. Could you please start your presentation, sir?
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah, we can see your screen. You can carry on, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. My study, as you told, it is a trend of temperature extremes in a decadal pattern. So it is this studies was undertaken by that as the people saying that the summer is becoming more hot and uncomfortable. So I have undertaken this study to see the temperature trend of pre-monsoon season, that is March, April, and May. That is that from 1961 to 2020. And I have studied in a decadal pattern of these 3 months. So data and methodology, I have taken the data 1961 to 2020 from Bangladesh Meteorological Department and Bangladesh Air Force meteorological stations. And I have done the 10 years average of these temperatures of these 3 months, March, April, and May. And I've also studied the heat wave trend. That is, I've taken 2 types of heat wave, moderate and severe heat wave. As you know, that if temperature rises 38 to 40, then it is a moderate heat wave, and 48 to 40 to 42, it is severe heat wave. So if temperature rises that much, then we termed it as a heat wave. So heat wave is also calculated in these 6 decades, and lastly, GIS map is presented. Data. So firstly, the summary of heat waves I have calculated. This is the table for heat waves, and I have found out that northwestern part, interestingly, northwestern part and northern part are exhibiting decreasing trend of moderate heat wave and severe heat wave. Both heat waves are decreasing trend. That is especially northwestern part of Rajshahi and Dinaspur and Rangpur, and another station is Mymensingh. This all through it is a decreasing trend. But over Dhaka also decreasing, but it increased in the last decades. And a significant and gradual decrease of heat wave is observed over Rangpur, Mymensingh, as I told. And some isolated heat waves is also observed over southern coastal stations and northeastern part, northeastern corner of the country, that is Sylhet. Then I have studied the monthly average temperature trend, maximum temperature trend, and the summary is it is also increasing trend over southwestern part and northeastern corner, but over coastal area, gradual rise of temperature is seen, and gradual decrease of temperature extreme is also observed over Rangpur, Dinaspur, and Mymensingh. So this extreme northwestern corner and northern station, that Mymensingh, this shows gradual decrease of monthly maximum temperature. And rest part of Bangladesh, as you can see here, so rest part is either it is stagnant, temperature remains constant, or earlier decades it is decreasing last 2-3 decades and increasing in the latest 1 or 2 decades. And so these are the central part is that trend. The southwestern part and southern coastal belt temperature is rising trend, and this northwestern corner and northern part of Bangladesh is temperature is decreasing both in terms of heat waves and also monthly average maximum temperature. So these are the conclusions. So increasing trend of temperature extreme is found over southwestern part, northeastern corner, and gradual rise of temperature over coastal stations. Maybe it is the effect of sea surface temperature rising, and gradual decrease of temperature extreme is observed over Rangpur, Dinaspur, and Mymensingh all through the decades. And rest part of Bangladesh either decreasing in the first few decades and increasing last 1 or 2 decades. But interestingly, the first decade, that is 1961 to 1970, it is the most of the stations exhibited the highest temperature trend was on that decade, that is 1961 to 1970. So it may be termed as the hottest decade out of 6 decades. Now, the limitations and future scope. I have studied the pre-monsoon temperature, that is March, April, and May. This study may be extended for all 12 months and more number of stations. I have taken 27 meteorological stations, as you can see in the map. So this study may be further extended, more number of meteorological stations. And another problem is missing data. Some of data was missing, and mainly there was no data, almost no data during our liberation year, that is 1971. Moreover, this other weather element, that is as heat wave is or uncomfortable situation during summer is also depends on humidity. So trend of humidity and rainfall may be analyzed in future. So that's all, unless you have any queries.
Thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. Now I'd like to give the floor to the audience. If you have any questions, you can ask, please. If no, so we will go to the next participant. Thank you, sir. Would you please unshare your screen?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So now I'd like to invite MD Tanvir Rashid, Department of Meteorology, University of Dhaka, to present his poster on assessment of land surface temperature, land cover dynamics, and heat island growth of Gazipur, Bangladesh, using satellite imagery. Mr. Tanvir Rashid.
Can anyone add me in the panel? So
Yeah, now you are in the panel. You can respond. Mr. Tanvir, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Walaikum salam. Yeah, now you can share your screen and you can start. We can hear you.
এটা কেমন হয়েছে দেখুন
আমি
কাটা বনে
Can you share my? Can you see my screen? Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you and we can see your screen. You can carry on,
Okay,
please.
thank you. Myself, Tanvir Rashid. My topic is assessment of land surface, land cover dynamics, and heat and growth of Gazipur using satellite image. So I have choose this area because of EPZ. So the study was conducted to analyze the spatial and temporal variability of Gazipur to show the land use, land cover change, and land surface temperature from the 1990 to 2020. So let's move to the objectives and result. Under objectives 1, I have present 4 maps and 2 graphs to show the land use, land cover change from 1990 to 2020. So by reviewing previous research papers and comparing them, I reached to this point that forest and the agricultural land have inverse relationship, and the same relationship is I found for barren land and the settlement. Here in this table I had present in the percentage. Here I found that forest almost decreased around 11%, and agricultural land increased almost 20%. So I have found that most of the forests are cutting down to make them as agricultural land, and for the barren land and the settlement, I found that people are using barren land to develop infrastructure so that they can live there. So this covers my first objective, and my first objective is determining land use, land cover change of the study area, and my second objective is determining land surface temperature and delineation of urban heat island. So I have found that the temperature is increasing, both the minimum and maximum temperature, but maximum temperature is increasing more than minimum temperature. In 2000, lowest temperature was found around 25 in the month of December, and after it was less than 20 in January 2020. And same for the maximum temperature, it was around 40 degrees Celsius in January 2020, but previously it was around 37 in May for 2000. So for both the maximum minimum temperature, shifting of month is happening. So before 20 years, minimum temperature was found for December, but now the minimum temperature was we feel in January, and the maximum temperature was before found in May, but it shifted now to April. For the conclusion, I say that this study can be used to prevent rapid unplanned urbanization and to prevent the consequences of heat island. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for a nice presentation. I would like to go to the floor. If you have any questions from the audience, please. I think no, because no responses yet. So I'd like to invite the next participant. Thank you, Tanvir Rashid, for a nice presentation. Could you please unshare your screen?
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, now I'd like to invite Tasnim Sultana Tanha from Department of Meteorology, University of Dhaka, to present her poster. The topic is projection of extreme climate events in Bangladesh using CMF6. Tasnim Sultana Tanha, you there with us?
Yes, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can have you.
We can hear you. Yeah, you can start. You can see your slide.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. First, I would like to thank all the organizers of this conference. So the title of my poster is Projection of Extreme Climate Events in Bangladesh using CMIP6. As we know that Bangladesh is the 7th worst climate change victim countries in the world, according to IPCC. Several studies have of recent years have been done to examine the effects of extreme climate events in Bangladesh with the observed dataset. But in my study, the future projection of extreme climate events are examined using the global climate model datasets from coupled model intercomparison project phase 6, and which is in short called CMIP6. Hence the objective of my study is to project the extreme climate events of Bangladesh using a subset of precipitation and temperature indices recommended by ETCCDI using bias corrected CMIP6 data for 21st century from the period of 2015 to 2100. So going to my methodology, the entire study area, used is entire Bangladesh, and two types of data have been used in my study. One is projection model dataset, and another is observed data. The model data consists of CMIP6 historical data from the period of 1986 to 2014, which is considered as the baseline period of the study. And the future projection has been done from the period of 2015 to 2100. To validate the climate models, observed dataset have been used from Bangladesh Meteorological Department, and these datasets, the time period of this data is 1986 to 2014. 15 global climate models from CMIP6 have been used for 3 future emission scenarios, which are called SSP 1.26, SSP 2.45, and SSP 5.85. As the climate models have systematic biases and they vary in the spatial resolution, so a bias correction was done, and these climate model datasets have been statistically downscaled using a simple quantile mapping method, and 10 extreme climate indices consisting 6 temperature and 5 precipitation indices were considered in the study. As you can see, this is the list of 15 GCMs, and this is the list of our extreme climate indices. So I'll go direct to my result. The Hello.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for
Hello.
your nice.
Am I audible? No, I'm not finished yet. I mean, I think there is a drop
Okay.
in my
Okay. Yeah.
internet.
Yeah. You're audible. You can carry on.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So going to my result, we see that there is a rapid increase in the higher emission scenarios of the indices, and only one index, which is called consecutive dry days, have a decreasing trend in the future scenarios. But apart from that, all the extreme precipitation index have a substantial amount of changes. The highest change has been shown in total precipitation, and that will rise up to around 5,000 millimeter in future emission periods, and lower in near future. So it is pretty much obvious that in future our climate precipitation extremes in terms of the wet indices will increase, and the dry indices will decrease. Now going to the extreme temperature events, all the extreme temperature events increase substantially, uh, and among them, minimum Tmax increases with the highest slope, and this is obvious that our global climate is heading towards huge climate change.
Hello.
So it was hello.
Yeah. Okay.
So this was the future changes of my extreme climate indices. So I would like to conclude saying a concluding remark, and that is, it has been estimated that Bangladesh incurred a loss of $3 billion due to extreme events such as floods and droughts during 1998 to 2014. A huge number of investigation has been done in previous period to assess such changes, but to build a better climate resilient society, we should focus on projecting the future climate events in Bangladesh. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Tasnim Sultana, for your nice presentation. I would like to ask the audience if you have any questions. If there is no, I think we will go for our last participant, Sadiq Mubashir Khan from Department of Meteorology, University of Dhaka. So his topic is impact of climate extremes on potato production, a study for Bahrain region. Sadiq Mubashir Khan, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you guys.
Yeah, Tasnim Sultana, would you please unshare your screen? Yeah, thank you. Okay, Sadiq Mubashir Khan, could you please carry on? Yeah, we can see your screen. You can start.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sadiq Mubashir Khan. Today I'll be presenting on the topic of impact of climate extremes on potato production, a study for Bahrain region, Bangladesh. The objective of this particular research is to analyze the trends of the observed climatic indices and to analyze the impacts of the climate extremes on potato production. The station data used in this study was collected from BMD from 1981 to 2020. Data was pre-processed using Python, and missing data was imputed using the mice package of RStudio. Then the indices were calculated using according to the ETCCDI core indices for all the selected 4 stations to analyze the overall climatic condition for the Bahrain region. By studying the 15 climatic indices according to the climate condition, according to ETCCDI, the climate condition for Bahrain region from 1981 to 2020 shows an overall increase of temperature over the years with a slight tendency towards the extreme cold events, and the overall decreasing trend in precipitation for the last 40 years indicates the increasing tendency of drought events. So the overall climatic condition of Bahrain region is becoming more progressive towards desert-like climate regions. Uh, that was the climatological part of my study. Now for the potato yield was collected from Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics, and potato weather calendar was collected from the Bangladesh Agro-Meteorological Information System website. Potato is sown at the start of the October and is harvested late February each year. The indices were again calculated for the growing period of potato from 1981 to 2020. The growing period is from October to February. Here on the graphs, here are the graphs for some of the indices I have calculated in the indices calculation for the growing period system, growing period section. The calculated indices will be analyzed against the yield data for each district to see the correlation between them. The relation between long-term climate and crop yield is yet to be established, and the work is still going on. In conclusion, the overall yield of the 4 selected districts shows an upward rising trend with a sudden drop of yield in the 2008 to 2009 among all districts, indicating a major change which will be further studied as a separate event. The relation between climate and crop yield is yet to be established by me in this work, and the work is still going on. It has been particularly challenging due to the upward trend of the crop yield. Thank you, everybody. That was the end of my poster presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Sadiq Mubashir Khan, for your nice presentation. Now I will go for the audience if you have any questions to our last participant here. Okay, so I think there is no question for you, Sadiq Mubashir Khan. Thank you for again for your nice presentation. You can unshare your screen.
Thank you,
now
everybody.
I'd like to ask you all to open your camera. Would like to take a snap. আচ্ছা ছবি তুলবো Please give me one moment to take the snap. কিভাবে নিব
প্যানেলিস্ট করতে হবে
Okay, thank you all. We have taken a snap for all of our participants and respected guests as well. So I'd like to invite you all for our next session that will be started on 14:20 Bangladesh Standard Time. And remember that it's actually +6 GMT. So I hope you all to see you there in the next session. Now I'm concluding this session. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.